So we'll pass on to the next speaker. So now we have a presentation by Servizzi Ewropej Malta. So by Miss Lynn Spiteri, who's already with us, and she'll giving an overview of the services offered to the Maltese community. Good morning, Lynn.
Good morning. Good morning to everyone. I'll try to finish off before 11 a.m. just so that we can remain on track with the agenda. Can everyone see the presentation?
Yes, we can see it clearly.
Good. So as was introduced, my name is Lynn Spiteri and I work with Servizzi Ewropej Malta, shortly known as SEM. In terms of what we do, we are a government agency which provides its services free of charge. We were formerly known as MUSAC. So there might be some of you who know us as MUSAC. We have now been rebranded as SEM, which we feel as a name better reflects our roles and our services. Our main mission is to make the European Union more accessible to citizens and organizations in both Malta and Gozo. And we do this primarily through a number of activities which can be grouped under three different headings: inform, engage, and support. With regards to inform, we inform citizens and other organizations about EU-related issues such as policy, legislation, EU-wide initiatives, and also funding opportunities. We try to engage citizens and civil society and stakeholders in discussions about EU policy and EU legislation. And we also provide support to organizations to be able to tap into EU funding opportunities. And in this way, we are assisting citizens and organizations in Malta and Gozo to fully reap the benefits that EU membership gives to Malta. With regards to EU funding specifically, which is the main aim of my presentation, we assist in providing information, in helping organizations to develop their project ideas to make them more competitive for EU funding. We assist with the project writing process, and also recently, namely this year, we have also begun to offer implementation support. So if we take a look at each of these in turn, with regards to project development, we assist organizations, so also lecturers within the University of Malta, to start defining the problem that their project is going to address. We have just heard presentations on a number of different EU-funded projects. In order for those projects to be able to receive EU funding, there had to be a project development and a project writing process, and an application form had to be submitted for EU funding. So with regards to our role specifically, we assist entities to develop their initial project ideas by defining a problem their project will address. Tied to this is also what is known as the needs analysis, identifying the needs, the different needs that will be addressed by the project. If necessary, finding project partners. Typically, EU funding opportunities require transnational partnership involving partners from more than one country. Tied to the needs analysis is then identifying the main aims and the more specific objectives of the project, and then also the results and impact that the project will give rise to. As we have seen from the presentations which were delivered before mine, each project had a number of different objectives, then activities were implemented to reach those objectives, and ultimately each project resulted in its own result, tangible results, and more general impacts. Aside from this, one of the obligations of EU funding is for projects to incorporate what is known as dissemination activities. And dissemination activities are project promotion and project information, and also advertising the EU funding support which was provided to that specific project. We assist organizations with each of these aspects of project development. As regards more specifically project writing, once you have developed the project idea, it is very important to translate the vision for the project into an easily understandable project description within an application form for EU funding. The way EU funding works is there has to be an open call for proposals. So there has to be a call for interested and applicable entities to submit application forms with their project proposals. And we assist with this process in three main ways. Vetting with amendments and completion. So the applicant fills in the application, and then we can vet with amendments to certain sections, adding in more detail and helping the applicant to complete the application. Vetting with amendments only. So in that case, we provide a few amendments to the fully filled in application, or else vetting with comments, which means there is a completed application form and we provide our feedback on how the project can be more understandable and more competitive for EU funding, since application for EU funding is a competitive process. We also provide assistance with project implementation, and this takes two main forms. Provision of one-off information on different aspects of project implementation. For example, assistance with the project dissemination plan, assistance with bookkeeping and record keeping, just in case an audit is performed on the project, or else also assistance with logistics, coordination with partners, etc. Or else direct and full project assistance with the implementation of the project as a whole. So in this case, instead of one-off answering of queries, you would be involved from the very beginning of project implementation, either with projects we assisted at application stage, or else projects we weren't involved in the project writing and project application stage. And here we would be involved from the very beginning and providing guidance and support at each stage. With regards to project implementation, our aim is to provide guidance to EU funding beneficiaries to keep the project on time and within budget, in accordance with what is known as the grant agreement. So there is a legal contract signed between the beneficiary organization, in this case, the University of Malta, and the managing authority managing EU funding. And we ensure that the project remains on track with what is listed in the grant agreement. And ultimately, we provide support with different aspects of EU funded projects, such as reporting, visibility obligations, displaying the relevant visibility taglines and logos, and also monitoring the project. And this means that you monitor that what is written in the application form is actually being translated in project implementation once it is actually being implemented with the partners on the ground. If you would like some assistance, the way that we think is the ideal form of cooperation with beneficiaries is for beneficiaries to get familiar with the guidelines of the call. Whenever there is an EU call for proposals, there are several documents which are published. These include the guidelines, which provide information on eligibility criteria, what is allowed within projects, what are the eligible costs, what aren't, and what is expected from projects being submitted under that particular call. So it is very important that applicants are aware of this. Having a sense of ownership of the project, our assistance is meant to be just that. It's meant to be assistance. It's not meant to be our ownership of the project. Ultimately, the project idea and the responsibility for implementation of the project rests with the beneficiary. We are not included in grant agreements or in contracts signed with managing authorities of EU funding. So it is very important that the beneficiary has a sense of ownership of that project. It is important for us to have a good line of communication with you, both as an applicant and then as a beneficiary, so that we can provide the best service possible in guiding you, in providing support and advice. We also operate through a system of internal deadlines for the provision of information from your end, so we can help you with the writing of the application form. And also, once we are assisting you with the implementation of the project, if that is the case, then we might also impose some deadlines just for us to be able to be in a better position to provide you with the best service possible. That is it from my end. If there are any questions, please feel free to ask them now. Otherwise, we can be contacted either via telephone on 22003300, You can also contact us via email on info.sem@gov.mt. And if you would like, you can also visit our website, sem.gov.mt, where you can find a page which gathers all currently open EU funding calls just for ease of reference. And you can also find us on Facebook, that is Servizzi Ewropej Malta SEM, and there are regular updates on calls, success stories of projects which were successfully selected for EU funding. And should you like, you can also contact us through Facebook. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much, Lynn, for your presentation. And yes, we highly recommend the SEM. Even at the university, we work extensively with SEM, especially when we have more demand than we can cope with, and especially when it comes to Erasmus. And yes, SEM has indeed supported our researchers, and certain projects have even got funded. So yes, we really, really value your work at SEM.